Good morning, guys. I'm going to get back to it here, putting this 924 turbo back together after paint and body. Let's see where we left off yesterday. I got the rear bumper on, and now I'm moving to the front. Now, I got to tell you, the hood was shut on this thing, and I spoke about it yesterday. I think they took the hood off to paint it, and they didn't align it properly. I had a really hard time getting it open. So what's critical is, well, there was a little bit of overspray on the spring and stuff here, and there's two ways to align this with several different adjustments. There's the hinges here, which those are slotted, so you can slide that back and forth. And also, I believe there's a little bit of adjustment on this plate as well. So not only are you looking for good shot lines on the fenders, good shot line down the front, but also this mechanism has to latch and unlatch properly. So anyway, brand new paint. I had to get in there and pry on it to get it to pop open, which pretty much, I didn't chip any paint, but man, I tell you. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is the crest, because it is probably the hardest thing about this whole front end, and I'll show you why. Okay, so I'm reusing a crest. I don't think this is the one that came off this 924 turbo, probably a 944. I did compare it with the original, and it's the same size. So you have the crest itself, and then this backing pad, rubber pad, and then these two like nuts. Now on the back of this are some posts, and I actually have one where the post is broken off. I think they're just like brazed onto the back of the crest. So, I mean, the whole idea is pretty straightforward. You get the crest on the backing pad, you stick it down through the holes, and then you can, these will actually spin on, I think. Let me show you where it's got to go, though. That's the hard part. So you have to come up under and fish those nuts through that hole. And see if I can even see. Yeah, there's one of the holes. There they are. So that's going to be pretty tough. First thing is to get the crest aligned on the pad. I think I'm going to warm it up some, get it to expand so it nestles in there properly. I may even use, because these pads will move around, and once you get the crest mounted with the nuts on it, it's really hard to get these little edges around the crest. So if I cook it up some, get it on the back of this, and maybe use just a couple little dabs of probably contact cement, and hopefully it'll stay aligned. And then probably what I use is masking tape. I want to be careful of the new paint because it's not completely cured yet. And keep this fixed so when I put these nuts on from the underside, it doesn't try to push it up. Anyway, that's the plan. We'll see how it works. So yeah, just a little, couple little dabs of contact cement on the crest itself, and then on the rubber pad, and I'm gonna let that set up for a while. Yeah, this is the whole deal. I'm trying to keep those edges where they kind of wrap around. You know, if they made this rubber pad 1 millimeter wider and taller, it would really be helpful, because they never fit properly. So while that's curing on the crest, I'm going to put these vents in. Now these are pretty straightforward. You've got 2 tabs on the back that go into those tabs. Now there's a screw up top there. So really, once you get it in position, you just give it a little push. It'll snap right in. I painted these and, you know, cleaned them up real good, painted them. So they're fairly flexible. If yours have been sitting out in the sun for a long time, you probably want to recondition them because I'm sure they'll break super easy. Just like that. Piece of cake. So, of course, the first nut I tried to put on from underneath fell off my tool, and it's trapped right there. Slid. Now, so leave these 2 grills out. You can actually kind of access things better through here. See, you can see the 2 posts there. Maybe I can get my hand up in there, not from this side because it vents it away from that area, but maybe from this side if you had really small hands. But at least you can see what you're doing. That hole from underneath, you can't see nothing. Well, first step, let me get that nut out of there because I need it. Okay, so this is the way you want to do this. You want to reach up with your nut driver, put a little RTV to hold that nut on there. I never did fish out that other one. Put your nut driver through the access hole underneath. Then you can bring it up. You'll be able to see the post through the vent hole. And then you can get everything aligned. You can kind of see it there. It's out of focus. But then, you know, you can carefully screw it on. So, and you can even hold the crest with one hand and use your right hand or vice versa. It's well, like brain surgery. I mean, the easiest way is just to take the whole header off. Take your headlight covers off. It's a little finicky. I did it on that red turbo car that way. I had the header separate when they painted it. So that was super easy to put the crest on. But this one, I just didn't want to send a whole bunch of loose parts down there. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to start putting these turn signals back in the bumper while it's loose. And I checked the part numbers. They are the same, right and left. You just flip them basically. So, and I'm not sure why this reflector on this one has got this blue coating. I have no idea why that's like that. So those just mount in there. The lens has separate screws. So basically you got 3 mounting screws. There, and there. And then the lens has a different screw. The lens screws have these little felt washers. And that's either to cushion the lens or maybe it helps seals it. I didn't see any evidence of gaskets where the lens nestles into the housing. I mean, bottom line, this car will probably never be driven in the rain anyway. But, I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to put some RTV down in there, seal that up. I'm not going to do that right now. So note the gap right here. The bumperette fills that gap. And in fact, on the back side of the bumperette, there's a tab that nestles down in there. And it's just got a couple of 10 millimeter and nuts and some flat washers. So that's super easy. Okay, so bumper's ready to go on. Now what I want to check is to make sure it's got those captured nuts. Let's see, yep, that one's ready and that one's ready. So yeah, same as the rear bumper. It's like a square nut that's captured in there. Yeah. The only other thing is there's some rubber sides to this. Let's take a look at those. Yeah. So these flaps seal the gap right here. And I'm pretty sure you want to put those on before you attach the bumper. You may have to kind of fish them in there or whatever, but this screw goes up here. I mean, you might be able to do it after the fact because the screws come in, they're bevel-headed screws. Let me put one on and see how it works. So yeah, it's a machine screw with a beveled head. Pretty small nut on the back side. There is a flat washer underneath there. On these, they were actually kind of embedded in the rubber. These things are pretty flexible. I think I can fish them because they should go back behind here. Anyway, we're going to find out here in a second. Okay, yeah, those seals, there's plenty of room. Get those back in there. Yeah, this bumper slid on super easy. Everything's lining up. So I'll go ahead and get those big bolts in there. I did connect the turn indicators beforehand, but there's plenty of room to do that after the fact. So no worries there. Right, so the last thing is this grill, and it's just got two screws that hold it on, and it looks like a couple of locking tabs right there that probably hold it into place on the bottom side. So you could probably put this on before doing the bumper, but I think it's safer to do after the fact, so because these things can get pretty brittle too. I've seen more broken ones than I have whole ones. So the last thing to go on there are these side marker lights. But you know what? I'm not going to put them on because, and that's the socket for it, and I'll just disconnect that right there because I have a new in the box heck spoiler, which is what this car came with, although it was in terrible shape. I bought that maybe a year after I got the car, and it's actually in really good shape. I'd never even looked at it, to tell you the truth. I just left it in the box, but it's flexible. So there's the side pieces, instructions, screws, everything. So I'm going to put that on. Yeah, whenever I sent the car to the body shop, I was thinking about, because these holes have been drilled for that right here and here, and there's more small holes. All those would have had to been filled with weld or something. But yeah, I'm gonna put that joker on there, see how it looks, and Bob's your uncle. I'll do a whole video on that, I think, because it's apparently was something that people did back in the day, but you know, those things haven't been made in 40 years probably. So I'm probably the last person to own a new in the box heck spoiler. So I'm probably going to wrap this video here, and we'll pick it up probably next weekend. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.